Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie back at you today with another beer review. And what I'm looking at is Foothills Brewing, looking at their Hoppyum IPA. Now, Foothills Brewery was established in 2004 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. This Hoppyum IPA is their most popular, best-selling beer. It says here on the label, the recipe is simple. Take some hoppy, add some yum. Nutty malts lend a surprisingly sweet base to copious additions of tangerine-y Simcoe hops. Great aroma, superior taste, clean, dry finish. One sip will show you why this is our most popular beer, followed closely by a strong desire to take another sip. Now, this beer is 6.25% alcohol by volume, and it is 78 IBUs. I have never had this beer. I want to give a special little shout out to William Kepley. Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing well. This beer review is for you, buddy. We were talking not too long ago about Foothills Brewing, and William lives up in North Carolina, and he gets all of their beers up there and says that they make good stuff. So what better way to start my journey through the Foothills lineup than by trying their most popular beer, the Hoppyum IPA. So without further ado, let's crack into it, give it a pour, and see what we've got. Got to be careful with the cap here. I want to save this cap. I've never had a Foothills beer before, so add that to my bottle cap collection. Let's give it a pour. All right. They have a website too, foothillsbrewing.com. I probably should have checked that out before doing this review, but I really wanted a beer, and I wanted it now. So here we go. It's a good looking beer. It is a hazy cross between a yellow and orange. It's more orange, I think, but on the lighter side. Very hazy. No big floaties in here, not a lot of sediment, but there is some fine particulate matter in this one. But when held up to light, of course, you can see through it still, even though it is hazy and has little floaties in there. The head is nice and thick and creamy, about a 2.5 finger head, which is actually sticking around pretty nicely. I've noticed that with some of the IPAs that I've had lately, the head sticks around better on the IPAs than it does with your traditional lagers and ales, which is just an observation that I've made. I don't know if that necessarily means anything, but all right, so hoppy. A little citrus. You're still picking up on some nice bready, malty qualities with this one on the aroma, which is nice because the hops are not the only thing that I'm picking up here. There's like an herbal, grassy note kind of going on with this as well, like you get with some really good European-style lagers. So you're getting the hops, which include some citrus aromas. You're getting some breadiness and that little grassy note, European style note. So a very good smelling IPA. It's not overly bitter on the aroma at all. I would never guess from the aroma alone that this is a 78 IBU product. I would guess more along the lines of maybe 35 to 45. Yeah, definitely smells really good and balanced on the aroma. So let's get into this, guys. Cheers. Oh, wow. Okay. So you're getting some hoppy citrus notes up front. which lead quickly into a nice toasted bready quality in the middle of the sip. Some nice sweetness to this one as well. Some malty sweetness that you would get with a good lager, really. A nice, yeah, fruity quality, citrus, but like maybe a little berry in there. A nice breadiness. A nice little grassy note in the middle of the sip that kind of leads into the finish as well. This is a pretty refreshing beer. It drops off nicely on the back end. Um, it's relatively light bodied for 6.25%. I'm not picking up on any of the alcohol. It's not super bitter. It's another one of those well balanced IPAs. A little dankness in there as well, which is kind of hard for me to describe other than just to say that it has a dank quality to it, but not nearly as much as the hazy little thing IPA had that I drank earlier. This one is more fruity, citrusy, bready. This one is a lot more bready than some of the IPAs that I'm used to drinking. Very bready and malty in the middle, which is a great compliment to the hops because it's not overly done one way or another. It's not too hoppy, it's not too malty, it's balanced very well, and that is important because 78 IBUs, if not well balanced, could be just a hop bomb and just not be something that I would be interested in drinking. Some of these 100 plus IBU beers that's all that is present in the beer is the bittering hop varieties that they use. There's no malty sweetness or anything else to balance the beer. This is very, very well balanced, very enjoyable. I can see why it's their most popular beer. I mean, it's just such a delightful product. Mm. It's just as much malty as it is hoppy, but it is both, and it is both in the sense that, well, what am I trying to say? I already said it. It's not too malty. It's not too hoppy. They balance out perfectly. Um, it is a refreshing beer. It's not super crisp because the carbonation is really not high. It's very low carbon, on the carbonation scale. Not seeing any bubbles whatsoever. Um, this is definitely in the excellent range for me. Another very well made IPA. I've been getting lucky with these IPAs lately. I've had so many IPAs in the past that are just overly bitter, not balanced. I think people are kind of catching on to what people want. A lot of people, when the IPA craze kind of hit the market, everybody wanted these super hoppy beers. People were putting out these hop bombs that were just overly hopped, but they weren't balanced in any way. Now I'm seeing a lot more balance with the IPAs that I'm having, and it could just be the different IPAs that I'm drinking. But I think a lot of these companies are steering away from just the super hop heavy hop bombs and are trying to create a more balanced, well made beer. I mean, I've been drinking Lagunitas for years. I love their products. They always make really great IPAs and hoppy beers. Um, but I've had a lot of other IPAs that are pretty generic, pretty you know, super bitter, piney. I guess more along the lines of a West Coast style IPA, but not a balanced West Coast style IPA. I've had so many that are just, it's like sipping on I don't know, sucking on a pine needle or something like that, drinking uh, just super piney and not enjoyable. I don't know, I'm getting off track here. Anyway, the Hoppyum IPA is an excellent beer, and I think it's a 95 out of 100. I think it's a solid A. It's one of the more balanced IPAs that I've had. It's malty and hoppy and balanced perfectly. It is refreshing. You're not picking up on any of the alcohol at 6.25%. It doesn't, you know, leave a bitter taste in your mouth. It's very enjoyable. So 95 out of 100. I've blabbed on long enough. And this is the only one I have. So this video is getting posted, even though I may not like the way that it turns out. But 95 out of 100 for the Hoppyum IPA. Thanks again, William Kepley, for recommending this beer. I really enjoyed it. I think it is a solid A beer, and I highly recommend that anybody out there who has not had the Hoppyum IPA that can get it, go out and try it. I think you'll be happy with it, even if you're not an IPA super fan like myself. I think you'll really enjoy it because it is well balanced, and that is the key with this beer is the balance. So 95 out of 100, that'll do it for this beer review, guys. Hope you're having a great day, and until next time, everybody, cheers.